This week, we begin our Parenting Experience mini-series with Dr. Elisa Van Langeveld, adjunct professor in family studies and founder of 10 Minutes Together. So you're calling this a revised makeover, like of the Super Nanny, focusing on positive parenting strategies.
Yes, positive parenting is the cutting edge best practice in parenting research, so it's an updated version of what we've seen in the past.
Positive parenting.
Positive parenting.
That's what it's
all
called.
Positive parenting, focused on positive outcomes and positive processes, strategies, day-to-day interactions.
Okay, so this is a one-of-a-kind parenting experience that we decided to do for the month of March.
Yes.
Remind our viewers what the plan is.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was on the show and I asked viewers who were interested in doing this 1 month long intense coaching parenting experience to contact the show. And we've selected a fantastic family that you'll meet in a few minutes. And we're doing a weekly coaching session where the family's practicing the strategies and then coming on the show live to report how it's going.
Well, and hopefully you can follow along, and maybe if you need 1, 2, or all of these strategies in your house, people can pick up on those and use those at home. You say you would just love a remake of the Super Nanny.
I would love a remake.
Why?
The Super Nanny was a fantastic show, showing how some really specific strategies can have impacts on all families. One thing you were talking about earlier is how each stage of parenting is so different, and it is, but the strategies are the same. Then the task becomes to reapply them to this new stage. What does attachment look like in this new stage? What do boundaries look like in this new stage? So over the last 20 years since the Super Nanny, research has identified a lot of positive parenting strategies and some that we should avoid, that it's time for a remake. It's time to say, hey, let's focus on these positive strategies only.
Okay, positive strategies. What 3 are you focusing on with this family?
So in every coaching session, there are 3 pieces. There's one, a theoretical piece where I teach, this is what the research says, this is the concept that I want you to be thinking about in your parenting. 2 is an actual strategy. Here's how you apply that concept, something to actually, like an assignment, to take home and try. And then 3 is a piece of self-development. Positive parenting includes a component that the development and the feelings of the parent cannot be ignored. And that's something that was missing in the past. Thinking about how does this feel as a parent when your child is boiling over, when you don't know what to do, and really focusing on self-development. So all of my coaching sessions have those 3 things: some theory, a strategy, and some self-development.
How do we stop just reacting in the moment?
That's a great question, and that's actually something that our family has talked about as something they might want to work on, and it's so common. As a parent myself, I work on this.
You know
also.
what this is like.
One thing that we talked about in our first session, though, is the most important theory in all of parenting research. When I teach at the university, I tell this to my university students in their parenting class. If you only remember one thing from this whole class, have it be attachment theory. Attachment theory is the most explanatory theory in all of human relationships.
Okay, what does that mean?
So attachment theory is this idea that we develop in the first year of our lives an attachment style to our primary caregiver. It's a pattern of attachment. And then after that year, we then go into all of our future relationships and replicate that attachment style.
That comes from the first year
of your life. That comes from the first year. We perpetuate it for our entire life. Now that can sound scary, but what we also know is it can get changed. The way we develop that attachment is through this attachment cycle. An attachment cycle is a need arises, and in a baby, they might be cold, hungry, startled. And then they express that need. They move around the cycle to express that need. They cry, they look for their caregiver. And then the caregiver has to notice. And then the caregiver responds, picks them up, soothes them, talks to them, and then they are soothed. And as we go through this attachment cycle, we develop trust in the people that take care of us. That is a secure attachment. That is what we all want to do. But that cycle can break down at any of those steps, where our caregiver maybe doesn't respond when we cry and we have a need, and so we stop expressing our needs, or we start to learn that nobody's going to take care of me, I'll just take care of myself. And that can develop a variety of insecure attachment patterns that we see replicate into our lives.
How interesting. Because as an adult, you're still dealing with what you learned before the age of 1.
This is what it looks like in adulthood. A person that says, I don't need you, I don't need anybody, insecure avoidant attachment. A person that says, I need to be with you all the time, I can't trust that you're where you say you're going to be, insecure anxious attachment. The secure attachment is the one that it's okay for us to go and to come back because I can trust you. I can trust when I have a need and I express that need to you, you'll meet my needs. You'll pay attention to me. I can trust that.
I feel when you break it down like that, we can all understand it. And did you do that for our family this first week?
So we talked about secure attachment style, and then I introduced a strategy to practice that attachment style, which is something I've talked about on the show so many times, which is one-on-one time. 10-minute time together, one-on-one with each of your children. This family is a big family. They have 5 kids, so I'll let her talk about how she fit that into a week. But this one-on-one time has a couple of steps along the way that can make it really impactful. The first step is a clear start, and then also at the end, a clear end. And when we bracket the one-on-one time, it makes it something really special, something different, not just like the everyday interactions that we have with our children. And then the next step is to connect, verbally and non-verbally. You touch your child and say, hey, I love spending time with you. Hey, thanks for spending 10 minutes with me.
Eye contact.
Eye contact, touch. You're communicating in several different channels, this one-on-one connection. You matter to me.
How interesting. You don't think that means something, but when you're not looking at your phone, when you're not distracted, they know, they see. Okay, we have to go to break.
Okay.
Quick break. We are going to meet mom. It's Elsha, and we're going to talk about what she learned in this first week of our mini parenting course when GTU returns on a Thursday.